Good morning, everyone. It's NoodleDog. I'm saying good morning because it's actually 7:19 a.m. in the morning. Isn't that nice? Today I'm going to be doing another artist block. So, congratulations. This took forever to come along, but here I am at my desk at 7:20 in the morning. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. So, where did we leave off last time? Muscles. So I did the upper body, and I think today we're going to go ahead and get to the lower body. So when I consider the lower body, I consider two shapes. Really, only two shapes. You have your circles and you have your cylinders. Well, cylinders are technically kind of no, they're not. They're 3D. They're a 3D version of a circle, but that's besides the point. Oftentimes, when I think about a leg, oftentimes you could think of a leg similar in dynamic and shape to you get two things. You get cylinders basically, and you can adjust it based on, well, you can get a square in there too for the kneecaps, but let's go ahead and put that square in there. And then you have your other circles, so your ovals or whatever, your spheroids. When I think about the leg, oftentimes I think about these being the core mechanics of the leg, because that's basically what the leg is, a bunch of circles, especially if a really muscular leg. So, and then you got the feet. The feet tend to end in like a wedge shape. Oh shoot! Come back now. Let's go ahead and let's scale this down just a bit so I can put the foot on there. Oftentimes I start a little bit too big and I don't know why I do that, but that's okay. We're just gonna do a quick little thing here. I'm not good at drawing toes, but maybe we'll get to that. But this is the basic structure of a leg, a human leg anyway. You have your bigger your quadricep muscles and everything like that, and then it goes down into the kneecap. I forgot what that thing is called. I took a figure drawing class. I swear to God I know what it is, but I don't remember. Let's pull this down just a little bit, and let's connect that. And then you go down to your ankle bones, your little ball and socket joints right here, and then you go into your feet down here, where you can then do everything you need to do. Now within this, there is a lot of things that you got to keep in mind. Mainly, you have to keep in mind the length, because the legs are the longest parts of the body, because they are, although separate, they are very much an important part. So let's start out with the fact that the quadricep muscles are much bigger than the calf. So let's go ahead and fix that. I guess it would be something more along the lines of this. Let me see, check my reference right here. Make sure I got it right. You can always cite your stuff if you just take your pencil and you put your things out in front of you, put your pencil out in front of you, straight, and you take your thumb and you mark the bottom of the image as with your thumb, and the top of the image that you're looking at, or the part of the image you're looking at, with the tip of your pencil. You can reference it if you come back to it. And I'm pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and just bulk this up just a bit. But legs are generally pretty easy to work on. They have different muscles that you can work on, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna elaborate. I couldn't exactly tell you the names of these muscles. I should have had the muscle structure thingy up, but as you could see, the muscles cohesively form to make your body one big unit. And the biggest thing about that, of course, is being able to, of course, experience the fact that you got the muscles to do things. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna zoom in just a bit so you can see already that I'm roughing out the multiple different muscles. You don't have to be as obscenely detailed like I like to be. I just do this because this is something that I usually take time to put into account. But you could see that, like, just the simple valuing and changing can make the muscles seem a lot more accurate, you know. And you can even take a very fine eraser and just erase that, give it more depth, so when you move into the heavier lines it actually gives it more of a depth. But you can see already that the muscles of the leg they feel a little bit more plentiful, in my opinion, as far as you know, as far as everything else is concerned. But when it comes to the leg, of course, the leg is the strongest muscle, has the strongest muscles in the body, the largest muscles in the body, going from things like the groin area, the hamstrings in the back. You have your quadricep muscles, like we talked about earlier, which basically are your power horses when they're walking. When you're walking, these are those big muscles that you kick people with. It sounds strange, but I mean that's technically the case. So all these muscles coincide together to create a cohesive human body, and in tandem with their relatives on the upper part of the body, they make you you. And whether you can't use them or you can, or otherwise not, you have them and they're there to stay. And already we've got ourselves a pretty well-rounded, defined leg. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to work on this part down here. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna fix it up a bit because I need to move it just a little bit. Come on now. There we go. Let's focus on the knee bones, because unlike the arm, where more than likely the only thing you're gonna really see are of course the elbows, and perhaps if you have really narrow fingers like I do, you have the bony phalanges in the fingers. You see a lot more bone usually in the legs because you have the kneecap, which is really knobby, and it gives a lot of depth to the knee. And oftentimes, if you were to just you were to take the leg, this is where the bone would probably be around here. You would probably take that femur, and it would come down, and it interlocks right around here with another bone, and then another bone wraps around here to make the kneecap, and that's where you get all of those really intricate details. Like if you see somebody standing up, usually they have muscular legs, you see that they have bulging kneecaps, and they see the detail in that. That's usually what you're working with. So I'm gonna erase that, and I'm gonna put that back away. Okay. I'm gonna put another layer on here so I don't mess this part up. So let's go ahead and talk about the knees. Okay, when I think about the knees, oftentimes I just think about, you know, they can be any kind of way, but let's imagine the knee, at least in the beginning shape, as a triangle of sorts, because that's kind of what it is. And you could build around the knee by adding a square to it, because that's kind of what the knee looks like. I'm looking at an anatomy picture, and even in figure drawing classes, I always thought of the knee as a square with a triangle in the middle, and it kind of is a triangle, or it's more along the lines of a oblong oval, perhaps. Whatever the case is, there's different ways to expand upon that. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go into detail here, and there's a little bit of muscle hanging around here, but it's a joint more than anything, so you won't be getting much out of the muscle area. But this is still an important part of the body, because this is what locomotes your calves and your upper leg, and it lets you move and bend your thing so you can pick yourself up when you're moving. Gives you that resistance. The different types of joints in the body you got to keep in mind. So when you go into figure drawing, you might get these kind of things. NoodleDog is trying to help you out here. These things really help. I swear they do. All right, so there we go. Let me go ahead and do that real quick, because I want to make sure that was proper. And then I'm just gonna take my beautiful little kneecap. I'm just gonna add some slight detail to it. You don't need to do a whole lot to it, because it's like I said, it's bone. The most you could do is, like, you know, add a couple of things. And for the most part, the kneecap doesn't really have a whole lot of things necessary in it. So it's just a kneecap. There we go. I'm starting to get some nice position changing. I'm gonna probably have to erase some of these lines to make it just a little bit clearer what I'm doing here. Let me go ahead and do that right now, actually. There we go. Just a bit. And we can always come back and add more or add less if you want to do that. Like right now, I'm just taking off some of these pieces so I can actually get a better visual. And you want to do this, if you're doing this traditionally, I would recommend you have a white eraser for this kind of situation, or a kneaded eraser, and you want to knead it constantly, because This kind of thing, if you're working with charcoal, if you're working with graphite, a soft graphite in particular, you will get a lot of buildup. So it'll be kind of hard. You might also want to invest in a small sheet of paper or a cardboard piece, and you want to put it down on your pad. So if you were to come in contact with the piece, you won't smudge anything unless you want to smudge. I know me personally, I smudge when I do sketches sometimes, and you could do that. It's really effective. But I'm just going ahead and doing this. And there we go. There's a kneecap. And now let's move on to the lower leg. I might have to do a leg tutorial possibly for anthropomorphic legs, because that's what I do for the most part, but I'm actually not that good at those. We'll get to that eventually. Let's go ahead and focus back on this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to elaborate on this part here. This part's really important. Alright, so there is a natural curve when it comes to the leg, as you can see. Let's see. The leg starts off on the outside, it tucks itself in, and this is true for the side view too. It tucks itself in where the bones meet, and then it pops back out, and then it narrows itself back down again, and then it comes out to form feet. And it's a more aggressive curve on the outside of the leg than it is on the inside when you're looking directly at the leg. So I'm going to elaborate on that little curve. So give me a second. Let's switch to my favorite pencil. There we go. And whoa. Oh, did not expect to see that. Damn. Did I accidentally do that on accident? Oh. Whatever, that's fine. So that's just how that was. Well, I guess my hand is shaking. Okay, so when I think about this, I think about a really aggressive bar turning curve right about here, where I pull that out. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of some of this so I can see a little bit better. Your boy Noodle has got glasses. There we go. That's better. Okay, now you see all that, and you can even do the same on this side over here. You want to get those basis lines showing before you start. Okay, never mind. Okay, it's on the same page. Good. So look at your reference. I'm looking at my reference real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull this in because the muscles of the leg tend to lock, kind of like chains in a sense. So you get to take this leg, this here, drag it all the way down here, and you would have a believable bone, because there's actually two bones in the cat. Oh, sorry about that. There's two bones in the lower leg region, the fibia and the tibia. I believe that's what they're called, because I think the radial and the ulna are in the upper arm. Right. Okay. Cool. I want to make sure I think I had those right. And you could see one of the bones. I think that's the... I want to say that's the fibia. I don't remember what that one is. But the fibia and the tibia create your two ankle bones. The little rounded joints on the bottom of your foot, the ankle. Yeah, that's what those are. And you could see them pretty... You could see them in a bony character or in a muscular character, because there's nothing to conform other than the muscles. So you see all that stuff. So, there's a more aggressive turn, but there's like a smaller muscle. There's a smaller muscle where the calf is, but the calf is created up two muscles, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So I'm going to make a slightly more aggressive curve here. Then I'm immediately going to tuck that in. And I'm just going to let that conform, sort of, into what I'm working on. So, like that. Like that. And that will be... Oh, hold on. And that will be your lower leg. And now we got to detail it. My favorite part, right? This is actually pretty simple. At least from the front perspective, you wouldn't have to worry about doing much, because you just do some gentle coaxing. I had a pencil with tilt support, and I love this thing, so I'm gonna use that a lot more nowadays, because I do appreciate a good pencil like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it some immediate love. And when you're working on muscles, of course, you can define your style by, finding a type of line work that you like to do, Something like that that'll give you some semblance of peace when you're working with this thing, because sometimes this shit can get really tough and really annoying. So always find yourself in what you like doing in this process, because otherwise you'll be sitting here, you'll be bored out of your mind like some people are. Sometimes you just won't get good, you'll just be annoyed at the fact that you're doing muscle anatomy, and that's no place to be. There we go. See how that's starting to already render out and look good? Look at that. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna render out this just a bit. Let me turn this on its side just a little bit. Come ahead and go ahead and do that. And there's other muscles in the bones, but there's, there's the usual. So let's go ahead and do that. This little pencil is really cool. I love it so much. And there's that little bone right there. And then there's like the little ball and socket joint right here. Well, not a joint. I guess it'd be a joint. It's more along the lines of just like the end of the bone, I guess. We're just kind of giving it all we got here. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to you. There are birds chirping out my window right now, and they're really annoying. Well, maybe they're not annoying. Maybe I'm just an asshole. There we go. There we go. And we can go ahead and make it even. Take a slightly bigger pencil here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and shade this in just a tiny bit. I might go back ahead and do that with all the other ones, but let's go ahead and also take this down just a shave. I'm gonna take it down a shave. When you're rendering, you want to try to get as close and polished to the end result as physically possible, while also maintaining your own integrity as far as your work is concerned. Like for me personally, like right now, I'm just kind of, there we go, taking this, and I'm going to let this fade out just a bit, because sometimes you can even get like a really nice effect just by doing a shading technique like this, where you just let the shading be the outline. And a lot of times this can lead to some really cool techniques. Look at that. See? It's like some parts are a lot darker than the others, some parts are a lot lighter than the others, and you can use that to your advantage. Okay, and you can see the construction lines where I'm. Oh, whoa. Jesus, where did that come from? And you can see, of course, my construction lines, but you could see that I'm slowly building these up to create something a little bit more, detailed. I love detail work on muscles, by the way. This is like what I grew up doing. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, so I love Dragon Ball Z, and this is the kind of thing that Dragon Ball Z had a lot of. And you can see that this is what I'm good at. This is what I excel at, I guess. Not really excel, maybe not excel, but maybe I'm just really happy to do. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is pretty good. Let's go ahead and finish this up just a touch with this. I'm gonna finish this up. By the way, you can get a lot of coverage if you just take the very tip, go to the very back of your pencil, you hold it by the end, and you just kind of slightly tilt it. You can get a lot of reach with your whole arm. That's something I think I talked about, but I might talk about it again. You can get a lot more with the reach of your arm. I know right now I'm using a Cintiq, so I have a really small Cintiq, so I'm using that. But you can get quite a bit, like you can get really good and fine pieces with that. And look at that. Let's zoom out and see what we got. Yeah, pretty nice. Muscle anatomy 101. Okay, we got all that going on. Let's go back down to the calf muscle. Let's make sure we render that out just a little bit more, because I do like where we're going, but we need to do a little bit more with this. Let's go ahead and raise it up to 20. By the way, if you're using Clip Studio, this is the perfect pencil. I found this on Twitter because I've been looking for like good pencils and stuff like that to sketch with, and of course, Twitter comes in real handy when you have stuff like that. And like I said, if you are looking for a particular type of thing, you might want to invest in that. Hold on just a moment. Hey, this video is getting pretty long, so I had to go do something anyway, and I recorded a separate video so I wouldn't have to worry about it. This video is pretty long, it's about 20 minutes, so just to keep you guys occupied, I'm going to bring you guys to another video where I finish this segment. So go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, the works, and check out the other video. Peace.